Yesterday we had a little refresher on slope and how it relates to parallel and perpendicular lines. And we're going to keep talking about parallel and perpendicular, but we're going to move into working with equations of lines just like you did in algebra. So we'll do a couple of quick refreshers on how to write the equations of lines. So the first thing we're going to write down is point slope form. And you'll remember this one. It's y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Okay, that's just the equation of a line in point slope form. And an example would look like this. So you might see y minus 5 equals negative 2 times x minus 3. We'll take a minute and label this and talk about what it really is. So that's something, and that negative 2 is something. You see the y and the x, they're just the y and the x from the equation. Every equation of a line has a y and an x in it. Those are the independent and dependent variables. The negative 5 and the negative 3, those equate to a point, and that point would be 3 comma 5. Okay, and if you look back over, it's because our equation says y minus y1. So that's y1, and that's x1. So y minus y1 is y minus 5, and then x minus x1 is x minus 3. And then this negative 2 out in front of everything is our slope. Okay, so it's negative 2 over 1. So that means it goes down 2 over 1 with our rise over run. So that's just a quick reminder, point slope form. It's called that because when you look at an equation that's in point slope form, you can see a point and you can see the slope just by looking at the equation. Okay, slope intercept form. This is the one everybody's a little more familiar with. It's in the form of y equals mx plus b. So an example of that would be y equals 3x plus 8. And again, when we look at this one, it tells us things too. So the 8 is the y-intercept. So on the y-axis, this line will cross the y-axis at 8. And this number, 3, is the slope. Okay, so that's up 3 over 1. And this is called slope-intercept form because when you look at the equation, you can see the slope and you can see the y-intercept. You don't have to do any work to find those. Okay, a vertical line, that's a line, and I'll draw a little quick picture here first. So a vertical line will look like this on a graph. And it always has the equation x equals some number. So we'll say a, x equals a. So our example here might be x equals 2. And this point right here, that would be 2. And it just means that x equals 2 for every point on this line. Okay, so the y value here, the y value again, is 0. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And it goes up forever. But the x value is always 2. So these points, this is 2 comma 0, 2 comma 1, 2 comma 2, 2 comma 3. And it just keep going forever. But the y value, but the x value will always be 2. Okay, and a horizontal line is just the opposite of that. It starts with a y, and it's going to be y equals some number, and we'll just say b so that we have a different letter. Example of that might be y equals 4. So if we had a graph, and we would have a horizontal, line, and the point where it crossed the y-axis would be the number 4. And so all the points along this horizontal line would have 4 for their y value. So this would be 0, 4, 1, 4, 2, 4, 3, 4, 4, 4, 5, 4, and it would just go on forever. The x values would be any number along the x-axis, but the y values, the up and down, would only be 4. All right, so let's take a look at an example. It says write the equation of each line in the given form. So when you do these, you need to find out what's the form and you need to find out what from the problem will tell you how to do it. So the line with slope 3 and a y-intercept of -2 in slope-intercept form. So to do that, we need the slope and we need the y-intercept. And we need to do it into this y equals mx plus b slope-intercept form. Well, slope of 3, that's the b. Y-intercept of -2, sorry, that's the b. The slope is the m. So, real simply, this is the easiest kind. We write y equals 3x minus 2. And that's an equation of a line with slope 3 and y-intercept of -2 in slope-intercept form. Now we say graph the line. Well, we know the y-intercept is -2. So on the y-axis, we're going to go to -2. And we know that our slope is going to take us, because our slope is 3, so it's going to take us up 3 over 1. So we'll go up 3 from this point, 1, 2, 3, we'll go over 1. All right, so there is our line. That's as easy as that. All right, so we're on to another example. It says a line with the slope of -3 over 4, so that's the m, contains the point -2, 5, and they want it in point slope form. Well, -2, 5 is not the y-intercept because they would need a 0 for the x value, but it is a point, so it's an x1 and a y1. Now they want it in point slope form, which is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So we're just going to plug everything in where it goes. So y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And so we got minus negative, so we need to clean that up a little bit, but we're just going to write y minus 5 equals -3 over 4 times x plus 2. And one of the hard things to do on these problems is just leave the answer alone. Okay, I know that you could add 5 to both sides and you could distribute this and you do all kinds of stuff to it. But when the problem says point slope form, that means it wants you to leave your answer in a way that you can look at it and see a point, which we can, right? And see a slope, which we can. So to graph this line, we're going to use our point, which is the opposite of this, so -2, and the opposite of this, which is 5. So -2, 5 is our point, and our slope is -3 over 4. So that means we're going to go down 3, 1, 2, 3, and over 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we graph our line, and there we go. Okay, last one. Last one for me. So we're going to come up with the equation of the line that passes through the points 0, 3, and -2, -1. And we're going to write it in slope-intercept form. So we need the slope and we need the y-intercept. Now, if we look at these 2 points, we have this point, it's 0, 3. That is the y-intercept. So we're good there. Then we have this point, which is not the y-intercept, but it is another point. So this is like an x1 and a y1 for our original, like our our point slope form. But that's not exactly what we want to do here. What we need to do first is find the slope, which we know is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So if this is x1 and y1, then we also have a slope over here. So this is x2 and y2. So we're going to do 3 minus -1 over 0 minus -2. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, which is going to give us 4 over 2, which is just going to give us 2 for our slope. So we write our equation now. Remember, we're going to do y equals mx plus b. Well, b is this 3. So y equals 2x plus 3. All done. All right, one more down here for you to try. It says write the equation of a line that passes through these 2 points. Notice neither one of these is the y-intercept. So you're going to have to first get it into this form, Okay, so you need to find the slope. You got an x1 and a y1, no problem. And then you're going to have to transform it into this form. And once you start working on this and you get all the numbers where they go, just move them around until it looks like this. And we'll check it tomorrow, but I think you'll remember how to do it.